Sony has been fairly predictable in its flagship release cycle over the last few years, so it comes as no surprise that it's launching two new phones at Mobile World Congress 2018. What is genuinely surprising though is just how interesting these phones are, and from a hardware perspective, how much they break from their boxy pasts. I'm Daniel with Android Central, and this is the Sony Xperia XZ2 and XZ2 Compact. If you've been following Sony's phone lineup since the omnibalance design days of 2013's Xperia Z, you'll have a hard time recognizing either of these two new phones. The Xperia XZ2 does away with the bezel-heavy legacy in favor of a more modern and screen-generous 18:9 aspect ratio, pushing the fingerprint sensor to the back and cladding the whole thing in custom curved Gorilla Glass 5. It's quite striking, especially in its new deep green color, and the rear glass facilitates Qi wireless charging, one of the phone's other big new features. The good news is that the fingerprint sensor is no longer for show either. Sony has re-enabled it on the Xperia XZ2 series following nearly 4 years of so-called business decisions to keep them out of the US. Around the front, the 5.7-inch LCD panel is still 1080p, but it's a rich, vibrant screen that supports HDR, and Sony says the hardware inside the phone will upconvert any SD content to HDR just to make things look extra pretty. Part of that prowess comes from the new Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 processor, which should find its way into most flagship phones this year. Sony says the XZ2 is the first, but likely not the only camera phone to shoot 4K HDR video too. The actual camera module is still the same 19 megapixel motion eye sensor with its G lens at f2.0 aperture as last year's XZ Premium and XZ1, and there's still no optical image stabilization on board, which is hugely disappointing. Of course, Sony isn't just about taking photos and video, but making them super fun, and that's where the super slow motion comes in handy. Last year's phones were able to capture 0.6 seconds of 720p footage at an incredible 960 frames per second, and this year the resolution has been bumped to 1080p for half the amount of time. At nearly 200 grams, the Xperia XZ2 is a big phone and looks like a cross between a Xiaomi Mi Mix 2 and a Galaxy S8 Plus. But it packs a lot inside its chassis, including a 3180 mAh battery, and it has an extra powerful vibration motor that rocks the whole phone when you're watching a movie or listening to music on the upgraded stereo speakers. It's an optional feature, you can turn it off if you don't like it, but in my short time with the phone, I loved using it. It really feels so visceral in the hands. For the Xperia XZ2 Compact, take everything I just said and remove the glass back and wireless charging, shrink the screen down to 5 inches, and you've got arguably one of the best small phones on the market. The Xperia XZ2 series is coming to the US and around the world later this spring. As usual, there won't be any carrier deals for the US, and pricing isn't yet available, but I'm personally more excited about these phones than I've been about a Sony phone for a very long time. So what do you think about Sony's latest phones? Keep in touch in the comments and subscribe to AC on YouTube to follow all the announcements out of MWC 2018. This has been Daniel with Android Central. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.